Something common that a lot of new bikers forget to do is to change and clean their air filter on their bike. Let me help you not be stupid. This is Moto Daily's 2008 Kawasaki KLX 140. This air filter hasn't been cleaned since I could remember, so let's clean it. Get your socket wrench with a 5/16 socket. Also, if you have one of these, I recommend it. It's so that way when you put your bolts in here, it's magnetic, so that way your bolts won't go anywhere. If you don't have the KLX, then the air filter is going to be in a completely different spot, especially if you just don't have a Kawasaki bike. For example, my dad's KX 250, the air filter is underneath the seat, as where on a KLX, the air filter is located on the side of the seat, or the side of the bike. Okay, so now that we have the cover off, this is the air filter. We're going to take off this little rod right here. And a lot of people mistake on when it's time to clean the filter. So I'll go ahead and show you guys here in a minute. Okay, so we have the rod out. And the air filter should just come out. And here's the air filter. So right here, as you can see, the air filter looks dirty on the outside. And this air filter is a little dirty because I haven't washed it in a while. But it's the inside of what we're looking at here. Because it doesn't matter, you can clean this air filter for hours and the outside of the air filter is still going to look like this. So for new riders, don't base how dirty your air filter is on the outside, base on how dirty it is from the inside. There's a bunch of black stuff in there, it's time to clean it, but if it just has this normal green color, then you're good. You're gonna wanna get a bucket about this size. It doesn't really matter what soap you put in the bucket. Take your bucket, fill it up with warm water, put some soap in there. You wanna let your air filter soak up all of the water for at least an hour, so we're gonna do that. This is the most underrated piece of motorcycle equipment ever. When a lot of people start riding, the first thing they get is a helmet, which is great. And then they get body armor, which is also great. And then they get riding boots, which is great. They always forget one thing, and especially when you first start riding, you're gonna want a pair of these. These have came in handy a lot, and I'm also super excited for the new ones that just came out. And that is gloves. Motocross gloves, you guys. When I first started riding a dirt bike, the three things that I had on was a helmet, gloves, and shoes that would protect my ankle. It wasn't riding boots. I didn't have body armor. I didn't have anything like that. Some sort of shoes that would protect my ankles. I didn't ride in tennis shoes. I rode in high tops, which is what I'm wearing right now. I'll show you guys here. If you wear some sort of high top shoes, you're gonna have more support on your ankles. But another thing I really wore was gloves, because you guys, gloves are super important when it comes to riding, and a lot of people don't understand that. And Fox came out with thermal gloves, which are super important, and let me tell you why these are my favorite pair of riding gloves. Something new that you can see about these gloves is that they have this little pocket. If you go and if you look on your normal set of gloves, they don't have this. These are called thermal gloves. What they do is they keep your hands nice and warm while you're riding in the winter. So you take your hand, it has this little pocket right here, and it's harder to get through because it has extra layers, and you take this and you pull it up as high as you can, and then you strap it. Just like that. What this does is this is going to keep your hands nice and warm and comfortable. And these gloves also have a lot of extra padding on the knuckles. These gloves are also screen touchable. So if you're wearing these while you're riding a Grom, or if you're riding a dual sport, and if you have your phone mounted on your handlebars, it's good because you can touch your phone while wearing gloves. Not a lot of gloves have that. It's just the type of material that they use that the phone kind of allows, if that makes sense. When I'm riding my dirt bike around the street, I always have my phone mounted up so I can see if anyone calls me, if my dad calls me, tells me to come home, someone texts me, and I could use these gloves to touch my phone, answer a call without having to take them off. If you guys don't have a pair of riding gloves, especially if you don't have a pair of thermal riding gloves, get a pair. This is not sponsored, but make sure you guys go get a pair. Air filter is done soaking in the water for an hour, and then we let it dry for an hour. Make sure it dries for more than an hour. The longer, the better. I definitely recommend letting it dry just overnight. At nighttime, put it in your house. But let's start up the bike. Most of you know I was supposed to buy an FMF exhaust for this bike, but I found out a couple months ago that we're going to be selling this bike this year. So I don't want to dump the $200 on it if we're going to sell it. I'm reaching out to you guys for help. If you guys have an electric start bike, let me know if you guys know what this problem is. Well, let me know if this is happening. We know what the problem is, but let me know if this is happening. So the key's off, right? We flip it on. It's on run. The bike just tried to start. Look at this. If we flip it again, it's not starting. So the key is on, and it's on run. But now look, if we flip it off, flip it back to run, it starts up. There's something stuck. There's some sort of substance stuck in the switch. We took it apart and we cleaned it. My dad dug everything out with a screwdriver. And then we grabbed air spray, and we sprayed out all the stuff in there. And it was working for that full day that I rode it on New Year's Day, but now it's doing the same thing. I already got the riding video in, so I'm not worried about it. Because I rode this bike, not yesterday, but the day before, on New Year's Day. And the bike ran fine, because we fixed it that day. And then it ran fine. We never had the problem, because while I was riding, it wouldn't flip back, but while I was riding, the bike would randomly shut off, and then my back brakes would lock up. That's kind of a problem. So, let's try to do it again. Not starting. See? Now if we flip it back to off, onto run, starts right up. So, we cleaned it. That obviously didn't work. I'm going to have to buy a new kill switch for it, but for now, sadly, this bike is not rideable. The air filter was a success. A lot of you guys want to know about the old bike, which is my second dirt bike. Well, it was my first dirt bike. This is my first dirt bike, and I haven't done anything with this bike in a couple months. It hasn't ran, it hasn't moved, hasn't done anything. I did service this bike about 3 to 4 months ago, so it's good. We checked the oil, gas, everything, brakes, chain. We cleaned the chain. It got rusted again because it was raining. Shifter is all rusted out, and it's not really working because of all the rust, and it's just getting stuck. I did buy a new shifter for it, and that's going to be in the next video. And we're also going to do some maintenance on it if you guys want to see that. But just for you guys, we'll start up the bike. For those of you who are wondering, this is a SSR 125. I got this bike in October of 2020. This was my first dirt bike, and my mom said, hey, why not keep it? And my dad said, okay. So we keep it on the side of the house because we have no room in the garage. Gas is on. It's a kickstart, obviously. Sounds good though. I'm not complaining about how she sounds. don't think I'll ever get over the fact on how good this bike sounds. Definitely a lot of stuff wrong with this bike. Clutch and shifter doesn't really work. Front brake is broken. Back brake is also broken. These pegs are tilted down, so that way your feet are like that, and it's kind of annoying. Look at all that mud on my shoes. Chain is all rusted out. Tires need to be changed. This front tire is cracking. It probably has no brake fluid. A lot of stuff need to be done to this bike, but I don't really want to dump any money with it because I never ride it. Listen to this. Oh my god.